Alright, sup guys. So I'm late. I'm late on this by a decent amount. I really wanted to do it like the weekend of pre-release. Because it's out now. It came out like, what day is it? Monday. So it should come out like Thursday or Friday or something like that. Because I was meant to. So the store I go to, I was told, oh, I'll happily give it to you like an hour before midnight. That's when our locals ends. Because we're doing pre-release, so she could open the boxes. But then, like, as the locals went on, she's like, "Oh, we're not doing pre-release anymore, so we're not doing it. You can't have it." And I'm like, "Well, I come here every week. Just give me my damn box of cards." Because then I went to a church camp, and I was a leader of church camp for like a week, and now it's Tuesday. Oh, sorry, it's Tuesday today. So then I go to locals tomorrow, but that store will change their prices depending on like how well it sells, and I'm not spending more. I think it's like $129 for the box, and I'm not spending more than that. Like I'll just have to wait till Friday. So I went through Card Cluster and just figured, let's just get this done. I want to look at what's in there, because I will buy the box regardless, because I like to buy it. But this is something that I want to start to be like, is it worth buying a full box? And so I just want to go through the card by card and stuff like that of what like to expect, without having to like, because I read through them. There's kind of an idea. I watched a bunch of videos on how people play it. It's not like, I'm not too in depth through it because I really have to touch the cards and like play with them to really know. But there's some weird stuff in this set, I think, which I think's like kind of in the air on whether or not it's good or bad. So I'll start with our 4 secrets. These are like the chase cards, which is the new Molchami, it's the Graveyard and Banishment Maxi, Beryl, it's just like it's from the Primite stuff, so it works with normal monsters and just recurs itself over and over again. If you've got a normal monster, I will say before we continue, this set is it's weird. It's really like normal monster like centric, even though because like maybe before we did this, the whole set, it's like we've got 2 new archetypes. We have a whole bunch of legacy support, and then we have a whole bunch of support for archetypes that just came out, because like the Whitewood stuff's in here, and just a bunch of random stuff, just a bunch of random like support stuff that could do well, but you look at it on paper and go, it's probably not the format for it, right? So we got the Molchami, we got the Primite Beryl, which I think just got reprinted or something like that, because it said your waiting phase instead of standby. Then we've got the LZ. So this is like, I guess she's a slightly, she still looks pretty young. This is just another one of just more consistency stuff. And then Mitsurugi, which is one of the new archetypes. So this is the ritual spell. This is one of the secrets by the sounds of it. I just asked Tony because he's been at all the locals, he's been able to open the box and stuff like that. I have yet to do it. I reckon I will probably get maybe 2 of this for my secrets and none of the other ones, because that's just me. Maybe there are more secrets, I don't know, but these are the 4 chase cards that matter, apparently, so I'm just going off that, because my friends don't tend to like it, which is nice. So 2 new archetypes, it's the Mitsurugi stuff, which seems to be some sort of reptile ritual deck, which is nice, because Snake Rain still doesn't have any good targets to send, and Ogdo Addicts are decently defined as an archetype. It's just that they just don't really have much to end on, and so the Mitsurugi stuff is kind of cool. I read it before and then immediately forgot what the ritual does, because there's 100 cards in this set. So this one here, destroy a monster your opponent controls, just a board wipe. After card effect, you can discard 1 card, and then your opponent can discard 1 card, or that effect is negated. Which means you have to kind of hand loop them in response, which is kind of nice. It's also big, by the way. 3200 is crazy. Add 1 Mitsurugi card from your deck to your hand, and this card's attributed, which means you can play through and nib with it, I guess, depending on what you can add. And then you get to summon it back. Then you just get to summon the thing back. Okay, that's pretty cool. And then the other one is, which is a higher level, it better do more. If your opponent special summons a monster except during the damage step, you target 1 reptile monster in your graveyard except itself, special summon it. Your opponent special summons a monster. That's kind of cool. Because it's like any reptile monster, which means you can grab anything back, which is cool. So yeah, it's just kind of like reptile support with it when it actually kind of does stuff compared to what reptiles do now. Especially like if you do have a good target for Snake Rain, and you can like summon stuff back on your opponent's turn that can actually do things, it's cool. I like bringing reptiles back, but like I said, need all of this stuff I need to dabble in, because there's only like maybe 2 things I'm kind of excited for in this set. One, which is the Argo Stars. I do like the look of it. I like trap monsters. I like traps in general. It's just that the game's kind of getting to a point where it's like their traps too slow, so they're trying to find ways to just make traps spell cards. They did it with Malice, they did it with Labyrinth, and it's just like make traps great again, right? Like MTGA. And so this one here isn't exactly fleshed out. So this is one of the new archetypes. A bit weird because this doesn't seem to be a TCG exclusive, but the Mitsurugi stuff is. But these are the only 2 new archetypes it looks like. If I go back here, they're the only 2 new archetypes. Like there's nothing else unless there's Argo Star stuff before, which doesn't seem to be. So yeah. It deals with trap monsters, which I think is really cool because we have the Silhouette Rabbit. Eldritch is a deck that hasn't been used in a while because it was just like a stun thing, so maybe there's more stuff to do there. The only issue I have with it is that, since I said before, this set's very normal monster centric, or centered. These trap monsters get effects, and they're not even very good. It's just like you can quick effect, put them face up in your back row. So there's something that comes up in a second with what I might say, because I think that the card that might not be played, but because it's still a trap, but I don't know if it's still considered a monster whilst it's face up in the back row, or if it's just a continuous trap. I'm assuming it's just a continuous trap, which means it won't work with what I'm thinking about later on. But yes, that's pretty much it. It doesn't really do a whole lot now. I think more Silhouette Rabbit kind of shenanigans would be cool. But realistically, I don't see this going too far. Mitsurugi, I think, can go pretty far from what I've seen so far. I think the only thing with Mitsurugi, because we have to think about long run, right? And I think, you know me, I don't really kind of keep track of stuff too far ahead. And I don't really want to talk about it now, but Regenesis is coming out, and I think that deck is going to be like a really splashable kind of engine in a lot of decks that might need like an Omni Negate, but at the same time, we're running into issues with Omni Negates, which I'll talk about in a second. But then there's Crystron. I've seen this played. It seems kind of crazy, but it seems very FTK, right? Where it's not so much FTK as like, oh, you've lost all your life points, or I've decked you out. They're very much like big board with too many interactions to cards in hand for your opponent, and that kind of sucks. And so that's just kind of what I've seen so far. It's very xenophobic, so it's very like Crystrons and machines. So I don't really see too much happening there. And they're also water machines, which is just weird, which it doesn't work with like a lot of stuff. But some of the water support's kind of crazy, but at the same time, who knows, right? Like, I didn't see it do too many crazy things in the videos that I saw. It really was just like Crystron, like, not pile, but Crystron core. It adds on to the old core. I don't think there's too many number changes except for the little yellow one that looks like a dude. This one, Citri. Citri now turns into a 1 or 3 of, apparently. But yeah, so I think I saw it at 2 in the video that I was watching. And you know me, I'm big on big cores, big on big engines, where it's like, yep, that's it. And then like, I still think it fits like 12 non-engine, and that's like kind of crazy to me regardless. And so the second archetype that I'm kind of was excited about was the Tenyi stuff, the Tenyi spot. I played Sword Soul for a while. And once again though, this turns it into like some normal like token control-esque thing, because it brings back that Sahara card, which is just something that was just never ever played. But this also means like this is playable now, and this one here is the thing that you're playing, right? Like this here with the field spell that you can grab. It makes the deck kind of nutty by the looks of it. Not like whether or not it's a hype like playable to the point of like, oh, it can do well. Sword Soul was, when it was out, like when Sword Soul was at its biggest, it was hyper playable. It won Worlds last year, did it not? Was that not last year? I think last year it won Worlds. Or maybe 2023 it won Worlds. against a dude that bricked twice, I think. I think, right? And so this stuff seems pretty cool. It really leans into the whole link aspect of the worms. It's probably going to play like a smaller Sword Soul package, because why not? They're all worms, right? You can still get into your 8s and your 10s, so you may as well. Still play Protoss because of it searches Heavenly Dragon Circle now. The field spell searches Heavenly Dragon Circle, which means Protoss is just like it. I hope it just doesn't turn to Protoss Turbo. If it's Protoss Turbo along with maybe Sahasrara control with the field spell and how Sahasrara works with the tokens and that, maybe you can ram some Primite stuff in here just because the tokens are normal monsters. Once again, normal centered, very normal centered set. Then that would be pretty cool stuff. I'm looking forward to it. I will probably mess with this a bit more. Maybe if I do well at locals or something like that, maybe I'll bring it up. But at the same time, I think a lot of this legacy stuff is already kind of beaten to death online. Hence why I said I'm very late. Gladiator Beast. I tried to play this at at a time wizard event, and I had no idea how this deck worked. I lost like the first 2 rounds. I was like, I'm going home, I'm done. Because I just borrowed it from a mate, and I had no idea how it works. But once again, videos, it's like an OTK that can go first. It does stuff on turn 1. It controls the board a bit, just by summoning more monsters out and then shuffling back and coming back out again. And then the new fusion, this guy, gives you 2 battle phases, and he's got 3700. So he gives you a second battle phase. He summons out like big stuff. He's really just an OTK that can go first, right? Like you may as well just like go just hard into the OTK and just go Tempai with it. But the only issue is, I think, once again, the core is quite big, so maybe you have a hard time pushing through. Maybe have a hard time pushing through, but it's really just like a glorified OTK. Don't really see it going too far, but maybe like a top hero there because it just sneaks its way in. Because I don't think you can play anything too crazy either. But once again, it looks like it's very xenophobic, very Gladiator Beast heavy. So yeah, that's good. I think it's a good way to go. They've released more Materiactor stuff. I don't know if this is one of the new ones. It should be. This should be one of the new ones. I could be wrong. Let's see. Materiactor. Did I just miss it? Etc. and Zeptwing. Yeah, he's one of them. Like a rank 3 normal monster engine. They went from 2 cards, like 1 main deck card and 1 extra deck card, to another extra deck card and like 4 main deck cards. The only issue is like it searches level 3 normal monster. No normal monsters can do anything anyway, unless of course maybe there was a Light Fiend level 3 normal monster that you could probably add and summon. Who knows? But it's nothing too nutty. But I think the interesting thing is that we have a normal monster coming out later. Like, they didn't include the normal monster they clearly want you to grab. Because it's a pendulum too, so you add it after your normal summon, then you just pendulum summon it, right? And it's got a draw. It has a draw. Everyone likes drawing. You know, this is why Malice is doing so well. Once again, maybe like a small engine, ram some Primite stuff into it. Maybe you can do something. I saw something with it with Tempai, because they're dragons. But nothing too crazy yet. Once again, anything kind of like normal monster centered can't go too far, because all your targets are normal monsters. That's like your whole goal. And so they don't really do anything. And then I think our last bit of like, oh no, there's 2 more bits of legacy support. There's this one, Detonating Kribo, just a random Kribo support. Who cares? And 6 strike. There's a 6 samurai support in here too, which I thought was really, really weird. Oh, and then there's this 2 performer power, just a random performer power card. Don't know I'm well enough to care. Chances are it's probably not going to do anything. They called it Magician Girl, but didn't make her anything look like anything like Dark Magician Girl. She's Sky Magician Girl, and that's kind of where that is. And then they brought the Metal Flame Swordsman. So for the metal morph stuff with like the Red Eyes Black Dragon metal morph stuff, kind of cool. I like to see them expanding. So same with like the Materiactor stuff. I like to see them expand on archetypes that didn't really have much, or they could do something cool. Once again, though, I think everything just seems a little slow compared to Malice, and it feels like if you can fit Fiendsmith in it, you should probably fit Fiendsmith into it. And this is where we run into issues with the current. What I've seen so far in this set is that everything is pretty xenophobic, and therefore you probably can't fit the Fiendsmith stuff unless you can do it first and then do all your stuff later, which means the decks that don't lock you into anything, such as Malice, even like Ryzil, once again you can just do it later, just benefits so much more from an engine that like strong, which just gets stronger because they released Rextraman Day. It's just another issue card, another problem card, I reckon, because it's unaffected by the card effects while equipped, which means you got to deal with it straight away. There's an argument to be had that like this isn't like a going first, this isn't like a turn 1 card, this is a turn 2 card, because it is like you can make it quite big, and you can send like, so you could probably go like Fiendsmith, you can go like Engraver for Tract for Lurry into Requiem, summon Lacrima dump Fiendsmith in Paradise, do whatever else you want to do there on your opponent's turn. You can go the Fiendsmith of Paradise to dump the Desiree, right? Desiree effect, shuffle back, send one. Then on your turn, you can go like Sequence to summon out this guy by putting the Fiendsmith Desiree back into the extra deck, and then when this is summoned, you can resend it to send another card. So you can do Desiree 2 turns in a row and shuffle back. So that's what I can see it being done, and then you can like go into Agnumde, bring it back, equip the Agnumde, and then it becomes 4,800, equip a Sequentia to it, now it becomes 56k, becomes 6k, and then if your Requiem's still around, equip that too, and then it's like 6,600, which isn't gain, but when you've just double Desiree and done all the stuff, like, this is just the Fiendsmith engine, by the way, like this engine just got better, and that still doesn't have Lacrima, and they've got like another trap card now, which I don't know what it does, but this here I think was enough. Like this here is actually kind of crazy with that, just that one combo there, because it's probably going off a lot, right? As for more support, we got more Goblin Biker stuff. This one's cool. It just does what Goblin Bikers do. It swallows stuff. Sick. This is the OTK tool. Atlantean support doesn't really do anything that I can tell the Atlanteans want to do. It's just like more extenders, and the other one I think dumps an Atlantean. Like the whole deck's geared towards hand looping by the looks of it. It doesn't. These cards don't really do anything towards that from what I can tell, but I haven't played the deck. Saint Azamina, another problem card. Cannot target cards in there. So your opponent cannot target cards in their field, graveyard, or banishment, or this card in the field with card effects. Just nothing. Just no targeting. Nothing. We're just not playing the game anymore. And then you can't even swing into it because you take the damage. And it lets you special summon as well. It just lets you do whatever you want, right? And it's just going to be that. This is going to be a pain in the butt. It's not even that hard to summon, I don't think. Not in Whitewoods anyway. It's, 2 level 6 high monsters, 1 fusion, 1 synchro. I don't think this is going to be too hard to get out. It will be like a Saint Azamina Turbo with maybe some set cards. Unaffected cards are always an issue. I think it's going to be a problem from start to finish. Then Evil Hero is a bit weird because I heard that they got an Omni Negate, but I couldn't find the Omni Negate in this list. I don't know what card does it. I read them all. I think I read them all. But I could not find for the life of me what card is the Omni Negate. But Heroes has a weird place for me because I think it does so many cool things, but my issue with it is that it can do all of them. Like, I've seen too many boards go unabated where it ends on Plasma, Dark Lord, DPE, and Favorite Contact set. Like, and it's just like, well, that's everything that the deck can do, and you don't even have to like kind of hard center into it. You know, it's not like Dark Lord control or DPE control or like, you know, using Favorite Contact at the right time with some other wingmen involved, like this new one. It seems very much like just do everything, and that kind of annoys me because I don't think the heroes, like, if there was like a like the deck worked in a lore sense where it's like, oh, it's this hero. Like for instance, this is Avian and Bestinatrix, and then they went bad, and then that's why they do the thing that they do. Or that's why they go into Dark Lore, like with the whole mask change. Maybe more mask change search cards. Who knows? Because I think a lot of this new stuff just like works with Dark Fusion. But once again, didn't know where the Omni Negate was, but it's like whatever, right? Like if they get an Omni Negate, they get an Omni Negate, which is still an issue because it sounds like with 2 bricks, extra bricks in the deck, they can end on pretty much everything that the deck can do. Once again, unabated, you know, your hand trap them in the right spots, blah blah blah, you're probably fine. But still an issue to just add in an Omni Negate into a deck that already does so much. With it being the only downside that you can't put a whole lot of non-engine in, but realistically it's just gas for days, right? And then there's this thing, Snake Eyes Doom Dragon. This isn't doing anything. People said it was going to do stuff, but I think that's just cope. They do get more support later. This is another Snake Eyes card that comes out in like the next set, but the issue with this is that Snake Eyes doesn't have a tuner involved in it. It's Whitewoods that has tuners, but the Snake Eyes stuff doesn't. It is a 12 though, which is a problem because of Crimson Dragon. But also this thing does nothing. It doesn't do anything, so it's like, who cares? And neither does this. This doesn't do anything. This is probably never going to be summoned, because unless you play like some pile with like the toolbox engine, so you've got your... But your toys are placed face down. Actually, now that I think about it, I can't think of anything, unless maybe like... That's why I was curious about like the Argo Stars. Were they still monsters in the back row? But maybe you do it with some Fiendsmith stuff, where like you equip and then send them to summon them and blah. I don't know. I don't think this is being played. I think Snake Eyes has been hit too hard. It's not going anywhere. Then we got this another 12. This is just another Omni Negate. My big issue with this isn't so much that it's an Omni Negate, because once again it's a Speedroid boss, and the Speedroid cards kind of suck. They released some new main deck stuff, but they don't really do anything from what I can tell. And the issue with this is that it's a 12. It's a 12, which means it can just be cheated out. Anything that can be cheated out is an issue. Because now that just means that like Centurion gets better, Whitewoods can make 12s quite easily, and we've just got problems on top of problems, right? And I don't think that just cheating stuff out from another archetype with a card that isn't in your archetype, so it's like Centurion into Crimson Dragon, they don't work together. Then Crimson Dragon just bridges you into a Oversynchro Dragon, or into the other one, which is like a big Omni Negate too. Why do we bother, right? Like, what's the point of having archetypes and cards that work together if we're just making stuff up? So these are all like kind of... and then we got Arcana Force. It's just an FTK. It makes the world FTK more consistent. No one cares. And then this Magistus Chorizo or whatever. I don't know Magistus enough. This thing doesn't seem to do anything at all. Do not see it being played. Do not see Magistus coming back because of this one card. So now we'll quickly move into the... And they're all the archetype stuff. That's all the support. That's the new stuff. That's the legacy support. Whitewoods looks like it's going to be really, really good with a lot of options. But get ready to see the one version of it, which everyone will play, because someone in the OCG will make something up. And that's kind of how that'll go. Okay, then we've got like a lot of like weird generic stuff, right? Like really weird generic stuff. Like they released this Red Lotus thing, which is a non-effect monster, so it's a normal monster. Is there a difference between a normal monster and a non-effect monster? Or are they the same thing? Like, do tokens not count as normal monsters? But I think they do, or are these non-effect monsters? Someone comment down below, and we'll see whether or not I'm getting this wrong. But so Grand Knight of the Red Lotus looks like to be a retrain of Knight of the Red Lotus, which also deals with non-effect monsters, normal monsters. I'll write this in real quick just to make sure. So this one here, which works with normal monsters. So this is normal monsters, this is non-effect monsters. Is there a difference? I don't think so, but there might be. But then we've got Red Lotus King, which works with Fiends and Fires. So are these two things not connected? I don't know what they're going on with this. So this was a bit of a weird one. And then Queen Azamina, which is just more support. I don't know why I wanted to put this in here. Looks like it's just a free big special. Oh, 2,500, that's why. 2,500, which means Ryuji or Regenesis will be able to work with this, because this is an easy summon. This is a very easy summon, because you can just dump this off any of the Whitewood stuff. And then... also treat it as a simple spoils card. This is a weird one to me. I'm curious to see where this goes and if it's even played. but I feel like it will be just because it's numbers, stats, and all that is kind of nutty. This one here looks fun. This is like a really weird board breaker, where like really weird, right? So it's hyper specific, which is must be specified from your hand or graveyard. Hand or graveyard is cool because the graveyard part like gets missed a lot, right? By paying half your life points, where your opponent has a monster card in their field or graveyard, with an effect that activates in the hand or monster zone in response to a card or effect activation. So if they have a hand trap in the graveyard, you can summon this thing, right, by paying half your life points, which is 4k, right? So this thing can't even get you in time for game because it's only 4k and you lose half your life points, right? So this card special summon cannot be negated, which is why I think it's a bit of a board breaker. Then it can't be used for material, and then it is unaffected by monster effects activated in your opponent's field. So it can't be touched, can't be used for extra material, which you can't just Typhon over the top of it. But it does mean that you can pretty much out anything in the game, right? And it doesn't just end the game. It's weirdly balanced. It's also, I'm just going to double check Snake Rain, just to make sure it doesn't say... See, so which means it's a reptile, which means you can send it off of this. Like, this is a decent target for Snake Rain, in my opinion. Like, it's an 8. It's a good number. It's got a lot of damage to it, like a lot of attack to it, right? Which means you could probably, in some cases, play around Nib or play through Nib with a card like this, right? Where it's like, oh, I've almost got game. I can do it in 4 summons with this. Pay half your life points, because who cares about life points? So this is actually kind of cool, I think, for the Mitsurugi deck, especially with its levels too, which means because one of these, you use a ritual with this in hand, get rid of it, summon it. I also thought this, yeah, it lets you summon from the deck, which is nuts. Like, let's just get rid of ritual monsters altogether, yeah? And just once again, just bypass the whole mechanic. And so I think this is going to be really cool. I want to mess with the Mitsurugi stuff. I like the look of it. And with this, I think it's a cool card, I think, right? For just random bulk. I think it's random bulk. I don't know the rarities. And then there's this thing, the triangle. This is like Ryuji support, funnily enough. Like, if 3 or more level 10 monsters are on the field, graveyard, or banished, while this card is in your hand, just special summon it. Then you get to send a top card. I don't know anything for me. But it's just another special summon 10. It's also a Sea Serpent, which means it works with the Ryuji type thing that they're going for. So that's kind of cool. I like that. They released Halloween from, I think, the Master Duel event that they had. These don't do anything. Who cares? Beast of Tawa, another. I think it's another. I think they released a remake of this like 2 sets ago or 3 sets ago. Then they're doing it again, and it's an Archfiend, which means it's a Summon Skull card. It's like, what? 2, 4, 6. It's a 7, not even a 6. Like, it's really, this is a weird one, but it's also like another Kashtira, and it's anti-equip spell. I guess maybe it's meant to out Fiendsmith. I don't know. Not really don't know with the equip spell cards or effects. No, not even. It doesn't even. They're monster effects. No idea what this is for. No idea. Then we have some cool zombie support. It's weird zombie support. I don't know why this is in here, but these things are pretty cool. This works. This will probably work with Vendred, and then this one here. It's just you're doing this. It's just a free special summon of a 4. It is a tuner, so maybe that's why. That's kind of cool. More fish support. Who cares? We don't want it. Template skipper. It's a better 4-mod skipper, but not. But it is, because it's special summoned, which means it's just another extender, really, right? And then we've got this Curse of the Ancient Turtle, which more zombie support, and then we've got this thing, which is also more normal monsters. So normal zombies and a bunch of random things. For 100 cards, I think they got a lot in here. And then for the extra deck, it's like Albao. Apparently, this must be the other secret, now that I think about it. But this... Sorry, this might be a secret as well. But this is going to cause problems in Fiendsmith and in Ubel, by the sounds of things. But we'll see, because it is a Link 4. Realistically, this should be 3+. This should say 3+, including a Fiend. So, yeah, I don't know enough about it. People said, oh, Dark World. No one's going to play it in Dark World. Then for support, I think this thing was cool, Eclipse Twins, because you can use rank 4s as level 4s for this, which means you can recycle your dead rank 4s that require materials just by like overlaying into this, linking it off, and then bringing back like the one you want to use with the other one as material underneath. And that's pretty cool. I like the thought of that. I think that's going to be a really, really cool car for rank 4s. Like even detonator, like you use all your detonator stuff. You didn't get extender, but you've got like duo drive and detonator. You overlay into this, and then you could probably use like secure gardener. I think is one, right? Which just requires a. Oh no, that's not. This is the one I'm thinking of. Oh, maybe it's gravity controller. Might be gravity controller. Yep, Gravoidy. You got it. Gravity controller. This thing. One non-linked monster in an extra monster zone. So you could just put this in there with like detonator and duo drive, right? If you can't get yourself to another detonator, you bop into Eclipse Twins and then link it off into Gardener or into Gravity Controller, and then Eclipse Twins. It's got to send to the graveyard. You target 2 other rank 4 lower XYZ monsters in your graveyard. So you target the duo drive and the detonator, and then summon the detonator, put the duo drive in, and you've got another pop / protection, whatever. That's pretty cool. I like the sound of that. That's not bad at all. Also, 25. You got to remember, keep an eye on the 2500, because that's all Regenesis targets, right? And then there's this thing, which I think is just a crappy Fucho. It's like a weird mix between Fucho and Baguska. Clockwork Knight looks like it's going to kind of not break, but definitely makes Cyber Dragon something a bit more to compete with, like going second. And then lastly, because I think now we've covered every like kind of archetype and weird card that I kind of found, because there definitely are some cards in here that do just suck, right? Like I read a lot of these and I'm like, this doesn't matter, or like they're hyper specific, maybe for like a closed format that'd be cool, but realistically, what's Light Force? Is this Light Sworn? It's Arcana Force. It's Arcana Force support. Yeah, so just more with that. So lastly, it's this thing, Lightstorm Dragon. Normal monsters. Okay, alright, I'm just going to end that there. So, that's the set. Pretty much everything that I thought was somewhat decent to look at. Final thoughts would be like, I would buy a box because I like the set codes and I want to buy a box to see what I pull, because dopamine hits, man. Dopamine hits. You gotta. The next gamble is the next big one. But I think in a case like this, none of it really matters. I think this is something that you can just buy singles for and go that way with it. Because it looks like all the support for any of the legacy supports, there's only a few cards to grab anyway to kind of bulk up your old core if it's something that you like. A lot of these weird stuff are most likely going to be common bulks that you can just probably grab out of your local bin. The biggest problem will be this, right? Like this is the card. But all in all, I think it's a fine set. I'm not against it. Buying it, maybe I wouldn't go over a box, because there's nothing to really grab unless you're like, this is too expensive. I'm going to just buy a couple of boxes and hope that I pull them. I'm hoping to get just one. I think one's just fine. If I get more, I get more. I probably will not be buying more than a box of this though, because like some of the new cores aren't big enough, I think, for you to care, because you'll probably grab and get a few of them, and then you can probably buy the singles for pennies. All in all, I'd give it a... Do I have a ranking system? I don't know. I give it a 3 out of 5. I think the bulk cards look kind of funny. I think I kind of like what they do. I think the legacy support's all kind of nice. I do not think any of this stuff propels anything into meta relevancy outside of really good duelists. Matchup specifics, or if there's like some kind of like crossover cards that I'm missing. Nat's leaving. I like the normal centric kind of vibe. I like the normal, the trap monsters. I like that. But at the same time, in the format that we're going into, my predictions would be that Malice stays quite high, Yubel stays quite high, which no one's playing it, by the way, but if you have the cards, play it. It's a legitimately, it's a tough matchup for Ryziel because they pop everything, and it only doesn't outgrind Malice if they dump Shifter straight away. Like, it can't play through Shifter, but Malice can't make Dweller, so it's like they're just hoping for the Shifter and that's it, right? And maybe like the Called By, but realistically, Called By should be in every deck, but that's not a card you can play around because it's a one-off. And yeah, I think maybe we could stick away from the FTKs, but realistically, you will probably lose to a random FTK at least one big tournament you go to every single time, almost, just because of chance, right? Like, you will lose to an FTK at some point. It might be Gladiator is OTKing you through its own thing. It might be just a giant wombo combo board and you open no hand traps. So I do not think, though, that any of these decks that are coming out for the legacy support for any of that stuff will be able to outgrind any of the decks that are currently in the format, will be able to outpower any of the decks, unless you're hoping to win the die roll and go unabated through your entire combo. So that's why I give this 3 Hail Hitlers out of 5, because it's not oppressive enough. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys at the next list. Take it easy.